Rolex Oyster Perpetual is a very interesting watch, with its advent rooting back to 1964, when the series saw the light in ladies' version at 24.6mm gear size. Although the OP series is over 50 years old, it wasn't until 2014 that Rolex introduced 4 different sizes in the series and added 36mm gear size into the catalog. This 36mm was the first men's watch in the Oyster Perpetual watch series. And then in 2015, Rolex further added 39mm version of OP, and these men's versions did not take too long to gain popularity. Interestingly, this is practically the only watch model in the Rolex range that does not technically have a name. We call it Oyster Perpetual, but then every Rolex sports watch is Oyster Perpetual, which is the name for the case and the movement, and not really the watch itself. The name Oyster came from Rolex cases to represent waterproofness when they came out over a century ago in 1926. And then the name Perpetual came from the rotor being self-winding, hence the name Perpetual Rotor. While we have Datejusts, Day-Dates, Subs, Explorers and Daytonas, which are all Oyster Perpetuals too, there is no name for this particular entry-level model from Rolex, so we just use the only words on the dial as the name Oyster Perpetual. The 36mm and 39mm are generally very sought after sizes, and the reason for their desirability is that they are not only very sleek in their looks but also very versatile. This particular reference in this video is 116000 having 36mm gear size, and it offers a very unique combination of design that on one end maintains the OP looks and then on the other gives you the Explorer feel and experience. This particular 369 dial on this reference is available only either on Rolex Explorer or this particular dial option in OP. What makes this watch a very unique offering by Rolex is the resemblance with Rolex Explorer that originally came out in 1953 in 36mm gears and in the same 369 dial configuration. Explorer remained 36mm for over 50 years when Rolex finally upped the size to 39mm back in 2010. While the oversized Explorer is a modern stance of Rolex for Explorer, it did not of course go without disappointing many collectors who preferred the original 36mm dimension. So now, with 36mm Explorer no more available, this 36mm OP offers the same 369 dial, giving you the same Explorer experience, yet a very refreshed and contrasting look in the stunning blue dial. So where it maintains the understated Explorer looks and then the refined size, it has that magical dial that makes it very modern and colorful. The dial is wonderfully sunburst that allows it to play with the light just fantastically, enriching the overall watch experience. The dial sports terrific radial lines for the sunburst pattern, and as you move your wrist you can actually experience the lines and the way they reflect the light and give you all the shades of blue. The color of the dial is rather dark blue, which mostly remains blue but then offers a darker blackish shade in low light. And then when light hits the dial face, it features stunning bright shades to sweeten the experience. While this particular reference is entry-level sports model, yet Rolex has not cut the corners in decorating this piece. The dial is adorned with 18 karat gold hour indices and have the luminous material filled in them to help you with the legibility of the watch in the dark. The dial comes in standard Oyster steel, which is made from Rolex's 904L steel to offer the maximum resistance to corrosion. And then the polishing on the case and the bracelet also maintains Rolex's standards and quality. And I personally don't think the machining on the case or bracelet has any difference in quality than the other higher-end Rolex steel sports watches. The case sides are all polished and so is the bezel. The bezel has a dome profile as opposed to typical smooth bezels which follow a more straighter profile. The top surfaces of the case are all brushed and so is the bracelet. While the case at 36mm offers a smaller profile and watch span on the wrist, the best part is the watch does not compromise on the size of the bracelet. The bracelet width on this 36mm model is interestingly the same as that of 39mm Explorer or even 40mm Rolex Submariner, meaning that although the watch has smaller case and subtle wrist experience, the watch easily maintains the manly looks due to wider bracelet and the overall proportions and muscular looks. It is worth noting that although the case size is 36mm, yet the case span or lug-to-lug height is 44mm, meaning that the watch still has a reasonable wrist presence and appeal. This can be a good or a bad, subject to your personal preference, but I personally think it works well and improves the watch feel and substance on the wrist. The watch comes with in-house Rolex Caliber 3130 that offers 48 hours of power reserve. The movement features bidirectional self-winding perpetual rotor to offer the 3 hands movement. The movement offers hacking seconds hand functionality to allow you to adjust the time precisely. The movement is COSC certified to offer only 2 seconds a day of inaccuracy. The screw-down twin-lock crown allows the watch to come with 100 meters of water resistance and offers the sports attributes to complement with all brushed top surfaces of the watch case and bracelet, except for the bezel which is domed and polished. On 6.5 inches wrist, the watch is wearable without any problems. It is a small watch and it does wear small. However, I do feel it has a little more wrist presence from what you would expect from 36mm watch, thanks to its taller lug-to-lug height. For me personally, it is still a little on the smaller side, but that is purely because I prefer bigger watches. Of course, this does not change the fact that the watch is actually very easily wearable and looks fine on the wrist. It is small, but it is meant to be small for all the right reasons. The wider bracelet does also help with maintaining the overall wrist feel and presence of the watch on the wrist. And then that blue, which is truly, absolutely spectacular. The blue is not too bright or funky, rather it's dark, subtle and interesting. It reflects the very right amount of light to not only show fabulous blue but also makes the dial look two-tone with shades of black and then the blue. The iconic 369 dial then is there to do the rest of the magic and mesmerize you as you roll your wrist. Rolex Oyster Perpetual in 36mm offers a very unique combination of characteristics from everything else in the Rolex catalog. The looks of the Explorer in the smaller size of 36mm that's no longer available in Explorer itself. The blue dial that is truly a joy to look at and is one of its kind in terms of its shade in complete Rolex watch range. The smaller dial to offer a very unstated appearance, yet a slightly bigger case to maintain the masculinity of the watch and fill your eyes when gazed upon. The wider bracelet to ensure that the watch remains balanced all the way from the bracelet through to clasp. And then the 100-meter water resistance to ensure that although it ticks more boxes for a dressier watch, it is actually a sports watch at heart. Rolex Oyster Perpetual does deliver everything as the name suggests. Waterproof case with perpetually self-winding movement.